Hey there, and welcome to a Dave Does live stream. So, I don't even know what we're going to talk about today, but it's the first live stream we've done on the new channel. We did do one, I don't know if I say we. I've done on the new channel. I did do one last year on the not Dave Does Musician React one, and that was quite good. That was quite good fun, apart from the fact we used to have a lot of issues with... what do we have? We were playing a lot of music and stuff. And we had copyrights that kept blanking us out, so we can't really do much about that. So for this one, I thought we'd just kind of see what people want to talk about on the channel. I thought I'd talk a little bit about musical influences, maybe cover off about some of the plans for the channel for the rest of the going into 2020 now. Some people have asked me some of the questions throughout the year on the sort of topics around what music was my background, how can I critique bands if I'm not really a musician, etc, etc. So I thought I'd kind of cover off a little bit like that. So I'm sure we'll get a few people onto the channel, onto the stream, and obviously the rest of it will get uploaded, so hopefully this will be beneficial for others on there. But one question I do get asked quite a lot on the channel is who are your favourite bands? So when I give a reaction to a band and I talk about sort of I give them a 7 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10, or and we'll cover fandom off in a little bit as well, which is kind of a topic that kind of popped into my head earlier today. But I've got quite an eclectic taste, but I kind of went back through, I kind of judged it on bands that I would put on my sort of MP3 player, that even when I take them back off the MP3 player, they kind of managed to get themselves back on again very quickly. They're my like go-to bands, if you like. So there's quite a few of them, but I thought you might be interested to know about who they are. So some of the bands that I really do like, or their go-to. So AC/DC, great band. Solid rock, you can't fault them. Yeah, they sound pretty much the same on pretty much most of their songs, but they're good fun, and they're great just to listen to in the car, drive along to. I'm quite a big fan of Three Doors Down, so I got into them on their first album, and yeah, I mean, they're solid American kind of rock, but yeah, they're good. They're a good solid go-to band. Other people, Alice Cooper, great artist, love him, he's great. Anthrax, Breed 77, Corrosion of Conformity, Decipher Down, Shaman's Harvest, Demon Hunter, love Demon Hunter, they're a great band. Guilty Pleasure, Drowning Pool, not everyone's, because they're quite simplistic at certain times, but for me, I actually really, really love them. They're great bands to kind of rock out to. I didn't like the constant changing of vocalists, but they always put out some good little tracks every so often. Il Nino, Machine Head, Motorhead, Mudvayne, Pantera, more kind of from their power metal days through to not really a big fan of the Great Southern Trendkill, so probably up to and including sort of stuff around I'm Broken, all that sort of era. So really for me, it was the two albums, the Vulgar Display and Cowboys from Hell were my favourite two. Papa Roach, Pitch Shifter, love them. Queen, can't fault Queen. Sepultura, Def Leppard, Europe, FM, Spineshank, Prong, Skid Row, Soil, Stone Sour. And they are kind of my go-tos. You'll notice there's no Metallicas and there's no Megadeths in there. There's no Slayer. I quite like Slayer. I quite like Metallica. I quite like Megadeth, but I've become probably a bit more disenchanted with them over the years. So although I enjoy them, they don't really appear on MP3 players ever so often, only occasionally. Grew up with rock and roll in the house, so when I was in my teenagers, I was into kind of all the old rock and roll stuff from the 60s and 70s. Then I was into chart music, so probably my first kind of getting into rock metal would have been going into Def Leppard when I was getting into high school. So when I was around about 12, 13, starting into that, and that kind of then started me into wanting to be in a band, play music, stuff like that. So that's kind of a little bit of a background on my kind of music and what I like, which leads me nicely into bands, playing music, stuff like that. So for me, why do I sort of say I don't believe myself to be a great vocalist or a great guitarist or a great drummer or anything like that. It just means I've got something to say maybe about it, because I've done some of the stuff. I've played live, I've played in gigs, I've done the old recording albums, etc. So to go an idea, I started playing music when I was about 16. First kit I had bought at the age of 16 was a drum kit, which was made up of 2 different kits. It was a Pearl Forum and a Premier kit. Kind of wedged it together to make myself this big massive rack thing, which was my first kit I ever played on. I think I had like 9 toms, and it was just a ridiculous thing, just a mishmash of equipment, but it was good fun. We played covers, learning Metallica songs, stuff like that. Then got more people involved, different people lineups over the few years, and so probably by the time I was in my 20s, we had a band called Well Cooked Jesus, I think was a name that was bandied around. There was probably other names as well, but that never really did much. But then we went into another band called Nikara Janko, which never really did much when I was in it. Again, that band kind of got back together again a bit later on, which was kind of cool for them, but I wasn't part of that. Then did a band called Costa Motion. And Costa Motion was cool. It was good fun. We did about 7 tracks written, 7 or 8 tracks I think it was. We had 4. We had like 4 I think I wrote, and 4 that was written by other guys. We did a load of shows with that one, but never really recorded. Then we did Nothing Gained, which was the one where from 2007, 2006, or 2007, that era, through to about 2014, I think I was doing that band. Did a couple of albums with them, and then obviously I'm now doing my own project, which is Project 42, which is basically loads of material that's been written over the last 15 years, put together, working on new material, and playing that way. So from a performance point of view, I don't do a lot of practicing. I don't do a lot of guitar practice, don't do a lot of drum practice. So technique wise is not great, but I got a bit of an ear. I kind of know from my point of view of where I would say things sound good, or technically of what the progression is, whether I can play it or not. But I do know if the bands are very, very good guitarists or very, very good drummers, and they've gone for an easy route or something, I can kind of call it as an easy route. And that's a choice, because you're allowed to say that everyone's allowed to share opinion, and people share opinions on my channel all the time. But I thought I'd just kind of share my kind of background on that. One other thing I get people ask me about, which I think people would find interesting, not really about the equipment I use. Someone did ask me about that, but I use a bit of equipment, just like standard OBS Studio, Logic 920 camera, Blue Snowball mic, an editing suite, which is the Filmora editing suite. So it takes about each video takes about 2 hours or so to do, which is a fair old chunk of time. I'm currently working on, I've got 46 videos on my watch list. There's a ton of videos up on the watch list at the moment. I did 10 reactions today that have been recorded. Got to edit those down and get those sent out. But yeah, I think I've uploaded videos now from now till 6th or 7th of January. I think they're uploaded, ready to be scheduled on, which is how I tend to do it. I try to get loads on, and then sometimes I'll pull them forward or send them up publicly earlier than originally planned. But other questions. What are my favourite reactions I've done? So I haven't just taken it as favourite reactions. Favourite videos, I guess, is one of my things I looked at. So I picked out 9 that made a difference to me over the last year. So one I really liked doing was obviously the first time I heard Nightwish's Elan. I thought that was really, really cool, because it was the first time where I'd listened to a few bits of Nightwish. I'd done The Poet and the Pendulum, I did The Phantom of the Opera, and I think at that point I'd done The Greatest Show on Earth the first time. And I still hadn't really connected with Nightwish at that point. And then we did Elan, and that was the first one that really made me go, oh, hang on. And that actually made me connect to the band. And then Endless Form, Most Beautiful after that one, and Bye Bye Beautiful were the next 2 after that. And that was when I really started to get my love for Nightwish out of those particular songs. Other band, Ice Nine Kills, It Is the End, just because it's such an amazing video production. It was just well thought out, great track. Just a lot of effort and work had gone into it, and it just that just blew me away. Not many videos do that one. Myrath and Dance, which I've actually just done Myrath and Believer, which is just on today's videos run. But Myrath and Dance, I love the guy's voice. I love the production of the video, love the production of the song. It was all very, very cool. What else have we got on there? Okay, we did Blackbriar, Arms of the Ocean, just because it was just a little kind of sea shanty type track, and I'd never heard of the band before, and I thought that was just a great little track, and really loved it. Loved how delicate her voice is on it, and it's sweet and innocent, but it's all kind of eerie at the same time. Within Temptation and the track Faster, I liked that just because it was very hooky, very rock orientated, and again just a really strong female fronted rock power metal band. I'm not sure if they fit in power metal, but female or rocked band. It was very cool. Other ones, Poets of the Fall, Carnival of Rust. I thought that was just a great band, great track. I've got Poets of the Fall on my list to do another one of theirs coming up. They are in my current watch later list. Majestica, Above the Sky, love that. I didn't know that obviously the guy in Majestica was actually the guy from Sabaton. I only really realised that after I'd done the video, but loved that. I loved the intensity of the song, and it was just so much fun to watch. That's what stood out for me when I looked back at it. The last of the reactions that sort of stood out for me was The Who and UVU, just because it made me smile. It was just one of those ones that I was bopping along to, and it was just really, really hooky, and it just was it was a great track. And the last two videos I did were, I guess my going sober videos were quite important to me this year. So I gave up alcohol 6 months ago. I still have these. These are 0%, 0.0, so they're not even like the 0.5s or anything like that. I wouldn't drink any of those, but these are my kind of, I like the taste, but I've given up the actual alcohol bit. Cheers. And so the actual videos were quite important for me to kind of go through that journey, and it was great to have the opportunity to share it on the channel. And now obviously I think I hit 6 months in a week's time, so looking forward, I'll be doing a 6-month video on that. And the other one was the Write a Song in an Hour, which not a lot of people have seen. It was an interesting video to do, so I set myself a challenge to basically, from start to finish, I had no idea what I was going to do. I literally picked up the guitar and started writing, and literally that was, I had to come up with a riff, a drum pattern, a bass line, a vocal line, and lyrics and record it within an hour. There is a result at the end of the video, and it is within 1 hour. It's in live stream form, so definitely if you haven't checked it, go check it out. You'll find it amongst all the rest of the videos on the channel. But yeah, go check out the Write a Song in an Hour. I have said in the video that if you wanted me to finish the actual song off, because it was done very roughly just to get it to a point, there was no post-production polishing or anything. You literally got exactly how it was recorded in, and I then just literally exported it and added it onto the video file at the end. So very interesting one to do. But they were my kind of 10 favourite videos I did over the year. Very, very cool. So what else we've got plans for the channel over the next, I guess, there's some plans for the next month, next year, I guess. Can't really think that long term ahead, but I am kind of thinking it at the moment. But I think before I get into the kind of plans for like what I want to do with the channel next year, one of the things I've found really interesting is the fandom for certain bands, and the intensity that people literally will defend their bands with like it's sacrilege to say anything negative about a band. And even a lot of the times I'll say something in a comment or in a reaction that's not even negative. It's just a case of I didn't think it was as good, or a certain element of the song wasn't great. So I know I just had a comment come through about David Gilmour, and about how, I think I'd said about how he did quite a lot of repetitions on, I think it was Uncomfortably Numb on his solo, how it's a very similar vein and it's quite a long solo. It's not like he's doing a huge amount of range within the actual solo picking. And then you get a real negative attacking criticism, which I find interesting, and as I responded to that person, I just sort of said, yeah, he's a great guitarist. He is top-notch, great guitarist. Couldn't say anything more about that. It was just an opinion on that particular solo. But I think the biggest people that probably defend their bands the most, the Warning fans, are pretty hardcore. Pink Floyd fans are hardcore. Nightwish fans are really a really weird group. You've got the Taya and you've got the Floor fans. I think it's something that cross over, but they are really kind of one or the other. There's not many that I found that really like both. So I get kind of a mixed kind of commentaries on that. And then I've not really had much dealings with things like Metallica fans or Megadeth fans or anything like that. But we've not really done much on those sort of bands on this channel. So we tended to find different bands that are not kind of like the Big Four or any of those sorts of bands. But yeah, just wanted to share kind of the interesting side of it, coming from a YouTuber creator channel, and the kind of comments that you have to deal with. What else have we got on here? So reactions. Currently what we're planning to do on the reactions, there's kind of 3 ways that I look at reactions on the channel. So I'm doing, obviously I've got the challenge lists. So we've got the top 10 challenge. We've done the first 3 people, I think we've done. So we've done 30 videos so far of the top 10 challenges. I've started working through the originals versus covers lists. We've got the request channel list, which I need to go back. I did a couple the other day for that, and then I've got to go back and have a look at that and pull a few more off of there. And obviously I still get some requests dotted around. We get the paid PayPal donated requests, which I greatly appreciate, to the channel. And as soon as they come through, I usually get those recorded and uploaded within a couple of days, usually, because I get video done, dusted, next day uploaded. And then the other one I do is I go through, literally comes up on what's on my YouTube newsfeed. So I'll just go for the YouTube newsfeed, and if I see an interesting video of a band I maybe not heard of, or a band I have heard and haven't reacted to for a while, I'll save it to my watch later, and then I'll usually spend a day, half a day, whatever it might be, and I'll just do 2-3 hours worth of non-stop reactions to those, and that'll become like a chunk. So I've got 46 videos in that current pile already, and they are what's I'm going to be working on tomorrow. And I'll probably on Christmas Eve do a load more recordings. I've already recorded all the tracks for all the videos for Christmas Day, Boxing Day, everything up to the 7th of January. I think I've got all those videos ready to go. And I think I've got about another 15 or 20 that are waiting to be uploaded. So plenty more coming. What else have I got on the plans? So, main plans for the channel for this next year. So, obviously want to do more original content, move away from doing it all just reactions. I still want to keep the reactions going because I think it's good fun to do. It's great because I've explored so many new bands over the last sort of 12 months. But I definitely want to try and come up with some new original content ideas. So if you've got any ideas, I'm still going to be doing drum covers. I'm still trying to do the one for Can I Play With Madness, but the backing track or the guitar track that I've got is not great. So I'm still trying to find another one. We're going to work on, obviously, more interviews. That's the next one I really want to do. So I've got Imperial Age. They're coming back to me shortly, so I'll be doing their interview hopefully in the next week. But then I've also got some other bands that I want to get in touch with and see if we can sort out interviews with them. So there's a load of bands like Kane. So Chelmsford band, local, really kind of almost semi-local for myself. But they've done a few albums. They've got a good local scene. So I want to try and encourage getting some more bands, doing more video interviews with those guys. Scarlet Riot, I really want to see if I can get in touch with them and get them into. So let me know if any bands that you want me to go and try and get in touch with the interviews. I can't guarantee that I'm going to get the interview. All I can do is the more subscribers, the more viewers we have on this channel, the more chance I will have of getting a video interview with these guys. Obviously, the more Patreons we have, the more money that's coming to the channel. We can then do things like actually going off and trying to get interviews live with the people at their venue, at the venues, at the gigs, etc., which is another thing I want to try and do, and also want to try and upgrade some equipment so we can actually do some bigger production pieces rather than just the webcam and the mic in the studio. So that's really about it for this on today's kind of catch up. We're going to try and do a streamed kind of catch up video once a month. We're going to be setting up if there's anything you guys want to add to the channel. There will be a kind of a PO box coming up soon. If there's anything you want to get reacted to on the channel, if you want to send anything in, it's always kind of cool. I know other channels have done that. I know I've sent some stuff in. For my craft shop, I sent some stuff into another channel. It was kind of cool to see that come up on the screen. So yeah, I'm happy to kind of go and do some of that, and it's always kind of good fun if you guys have got anything interesting music wise or interesting you want to share and want to send it in. So I'll be doing that as well shortly. I hope you found it interesting. Didn't really get any of the viewers on the channel tonight, but a lot of my viewers are from abroad, so obviously time difference might be the issue today, but hopefully you're watching it after the effect and you enjoyed the simplified video, I guess, of what this was. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Have a great Christmas if I don't check out a video between now and then. And that's, of course, how Dave does it.